Hello and welcome to a tutorial on how to do a dual weapon and also a trick weapon. Another name for a dual weapon might be paired weapon. So I'm gonna be using the crucible curved swords for the tutorial. I'm gonna use the small one and I'm gonna be using the twin blades. So um, in this tutorial what I'm gonna do is one-handed will be the dual blades and two-handed will be the twin blade. So let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna start by saying by no means this is a beginner tutorial. I'm not gonna go ahead and show you how to create a mod, how to do animations, how to use DS animation, how to create your moveset. Um, from my perspective, if you're gonna create a dual weapon or a trick weapon, then you should already know the basics of how to do a moveset. And if you don't, I do recommend looking through the Souls modding wiki tool and learning first how to create a moveset or asking server name. But I'm not gonna do that. Already have most of the stuff set up. I'm gonna go ahead and show you first. I'm gonna use the falchion as a base, but of course you can go ahead and use any weapon of any kind. So let's go ahead and start here. I'm gonna create this as a standalone weapon. That way it's a little more easier. So let's just say I'm gonna call this dual twin blade tutorial. Yeah, I'm not gonna go ahead and make a name for it. So let's give it a custom ID. Usually you can go ahead and just do something like this, or maybe something like this. Whatever's easier. You can delete 1 0 if you want. Just make it unique. Don't um, make it close to this. It's not gonna work. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to Kale because this is the easiest to find it. I'm sorry if sometimes I'm speaking low, trying to be as close as possible to the microphone. So I'm gonna at least I'm gonna explain the basic of what is the weapon absorb pos param. So basically, this param um, holds information of where each weapon or model goes. If you see here, you're gonna see model 0, model 1, model 2, and model 3. So you can actually have 4 weapons or 4 models in a singular parts bin, and of course you can use them all. um, if you use 4 weapons, then that is a rare extreme case. We're just gonna use 3 weapons since I'm gonna use 0 and 1 for the dual swords and number 2 for the trick weapon. But I just want to mention, if you don't want to do a dual swords and you just want to make a weapon that transform to another weapon, then of course you can use this guide. You just have to skip um, the dual weapons that I'm gonna do. You can just create the first weapon and the second weapon be the transformation, but the basics of it is gonna be the same. So let's go ahead and continue. Um, I suggest that you also make a custom, um, how do you call it, param for this. I'm sorry. So let's Control D to duplicate. I'm gonna go ahead and name it 910. So you can go ahead and search it here. Let's go here, 910. Also, I'm not gonna go and explain about each dummy poly or anything like that. I guess that you're supposed to know if you know the basics of modding, but I can at least tell you that dummy poly, from what I know, it just holds location, rotation, um, and direction, orientation, you may call it, of where something in the dummy poly goes. So, for example, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. You can see the dummy polys right here. Each of those are the names. If you see here, you can look closely. I'm not sure if we're able to see it, but right there is 20, 21. You can see a couple of those right there. 180. You can see this using 20, 21 for the left hand. So that's basically something easy that you can follow. So let's go ahead and start with the parts band. So I already have them here. This is the the sword, and this is gonna be the twin blade. So you're gonna have to make only one parts band, and the way that it's gonna work is so. If you see here, you can see that Fliver has 200 and TPF has 100. Since I'm gonna make a singular the same sword as a dual weapon, then you can use one textures. The game already knows, so let's make this easy. The game already knows that if you don't add a TPF for the second weapon, it's gonna use the textures from this. So the way that you do it is that you just copy this. If you wanna, you don't have to, but anyways. And you're gonna put a 1. So if you wanna make another texture, let's say you wanna change the colors, or you have two different weapons, or basically that, then of course you're gonna need to do the same. And sorry, not there. You can add that here and just put a 1. So you have to follow this. So 0, 1, and then you can put a 2 or a 3. So a 2 or a 3, it's actually, oh, guess what? 0, 1, 2, 3. So the name doesn't actually matter. As you can see, this is 041. This is 04219. What matters is the ID. But for the sake of the tutorial, you can also change this to 0401 or whatever ID you're gonna use. I'm not gonna do that. So to register, and that's basically how you can get a dual weapon. And let's go ahead and add this. So I'm gonna be also very lazy and just copy this. I'm not even gonna rename it, just to show you that you can use it. So like I said before, 0, 1. So this, to make the third weapon, it's gonna need a 2. This is gonna need a 2, and this is gonna need a 2. This is very, very important. Every single one, and the ID has to be the same as the vanilla ones. Don't change those. If you want this weapon to use a TPF of its own, then you're gonna need to do this. If you don't, it's gonna use this one. But anyways, that's about it. I'm not gonna go into too deep. So you can, of course, you can rename it if you want. I'm not gonna do so. This is just a basic tutorial on how to do a dual weapon. So let's go ahead and first start here. You want to go ahead and pack this, and we're gonna go ahead and create add the dummy polys for both. So after you're done repacking, you can just delete this, and delete this. So I'm gonna already use the dummy polys that I know of. So something that I want to explain to you is that when you're doing dual weapons, you have to know that the second weapon or the third weapon or the fourth weapon, doesn't matter, if you add the weapon to your right hand, it's always gonna be in your right hand. So it doesn't matter which weapon you have equipped, it's always gonna be the right hand. Now if you equip the weapon to the left hand, then it's gonna use the dummy poly for the left hand. So you see that left hand uses 21 and right hand uses 20. First weapon is gonna use 20. Second weapon has to use 21 on the right hand. The left hand doesn't matter because this weapon you're not gonna be able to use it on the left hand. And how do we make that? So you can go here and just click this off. It's not gonna let you use it on the left hand. You don't want that if you're gonna create a trick weapon or dual weapon. So you always use it on the left hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and also use the twin blades. So 24. If you see the twin blades, now this is tricky. Since you're gonna use the weapon in a dual weapon kind, you want to use the both hands dummy poly. So I was gonna explain this, and sorry that I didn't do it beforehand. So this is self-explanatory. Right hand is gonna be if the weapon is on the right, left hand is the weapon on the left. Both hands if you have both weapon on. If you dual weapon, two-hand a weapon. I'm so sorry, it's very late today. Left sheath is gonna use the left sheath dummy poly. If you have the weapon on the left, the right sheath is gonna use the dummy poly. If you have the weapon on the right. So to basically create the motion of having two weapons and a third one, I'm gonna put here this. What will make this is that we don't have any problems. You actually don't need to delete the sheath. I'm just doing it because I'm not gonna use it. But what's important is that in both hands you have -1 unless you want to sheath your weapon or maybe have it shown in another location. Then you can have a dummy poly, but I'm gonna make them disappear so the third weapon comes out. So the way that it works is that the second weapon is gonna have all this as -1, and this is the only one that you're gonna need to change because, like I said, it's gonna be both hands. 1 second. Sorry about that. So going back, let's go to the twin blades, and we're gonna use 16. Let's put that on both, and let's go ahead and look for the twin blade. For both hand, twin blade uses 13. Let's go ahead and use that. I'm guessing you know the basics of this. If you don't, I'm sorry. Anyways, let's continue on so I don't make this very long. This is gonna be a very long tutorial. Maybe not, maybe yes. So we have the basics. Let's go ahead and give a name to our weapon. Let's keep it simple. This is gonna be dual twin blade tutorial. Make sure that you save it. If you don't, it's not gonna work. So let's save this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. You can also make this standalone. Something that I forgot to say, if you're gonna use modded weapons like this, first, of course, you have to look for the permissions. So please ask for permission. This is very important. If you're gonna use a modded weapon, ask for permission. So we put 9401. Of course, you have to also change that here. 9401. If you watched for it had 0401, this always ignores the first zero. So if you use a 0 something, you don't have to put the 0 here. It doesn't do anything. So let's go ahead and pick up our weapon. I'm gonna be using mod engine for this. So something happened here for some reason. Let me go ahead and move this. Sorry about that. For some reason, it got changed. So let's grab this, grab this, grab this, and dual blade tutorial. So let's go ahead and pick up our weapon so I can show you at least the base of it. Let me see if this is working. And yes, it is.
Always.
Doesn't have a name for some reason. I'm not sure if the game is too loud. Let me go ahead and just lower this. So let's go ahead and look for the falchion. So, oh, I'm so fucking sorry. So actually, what I did wrong was that I didn't add this to my weapon. I'm so sorry about that. But at least I can tell you that you can hot reload in F5. Let's save all. This is good because this also shows you that if it's not working, that maybe you missed something. So as you can see, we have both weapons equipped on each hand, and if I dual grab two hand, I'm so sorry. You can see that we have the twin blade. Of course, the motion is gonna be the falchions, but anyways, at least you see that it's working. Now let's go ahead and go to the basics. So we're gonna do some bit of coding so we can make this so you know that you have your R1, but let's say you want to use your L1 for the other weapon, or maybe you want to make the L1 be the dual and the R1 be the regular, or maybe you want to make the R1 be the dual and this only to use the left hand. Anyways, it's your choice. So let's go ahead and start that action script, and we're gonna go ahead and download this. I'm gonna go ahead and link this at least this website, and also I'm gonna link the codes, put the codes on the I'm not gonna link, I'm gonna put the codes on the description. So let's go here. Also, you can tell that I usually don't do tutorials. I'm not good at them, so I try to avoid it, but I'm trying to make something for those of you that want to do a dual weapon. So let's go ahead and first create our TAE. And sorry that I'm all over the place. So let's go here. Let's open. Let's put the mod here. Usually it should have mod or whatever you want. You just gotta make sure that this is the root of your mod files. And let's go ahead and search for our game, save it, and you can go ahead and load it. So let me go ahead and close Elden Ring because we're gonna have to reload everything. So let's turn this off. Okay, and since I'm using the curved swords, let's go ahead and copy that one. So 28. Let's create a simple TAE. So we're gonna use 720. You can use whatever you want. Make sure that you reference. This is better. That way you only replace whatever you want. Or you could create an empty TAE. The way that you can do that is Control J, Control I, and if you create one that doesn't exist, I'm sorry, Control J and insert. And then you do this, then you just can create this. But of course, you're gonna have to create every single entry. But let's make this simple. I'm not gonna mod a moveset, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we're gonna need for the trick weapon. So for the trick weapon, you want to go to here and let me see which one was it. So you need 37040 and 37030. Why are we using this? These are the animations to reload your crossbow, and when you don't have any ammo. Why are we using this? Because we're not using a crossbow, and the animations are free to use. Well, the entries. Of course, if you're more advanced, you can create your custom behaviors, but why? Because you're not gonna use this for nothing. So let's go ahead and duplicate this to 720 and duplicate this to 720 also. You want to make sure that you put a name. Okay, you can put here goes into one-handed. Goes into two-handed. And I'm just pressing F3. You can see that here. F3, edit current properties. So let's go ahead and start by adding our animations. So I got this too. I'm gonna use Lady Maria's animation for this because it's already good for a dual swords to twin blade. So I'm also gonna show you what you need to add, how to add an effect and everything. So let's go ahead and just copy this, pack it. You can go ahead and save this. Also, you can delete this. I just left it there, but I don't care. So you already have this packed. You can go ahead and delete this. So let's go ahead, and while this is saving and everything, let's go ahead and first start our code for the dual weapon. So the, shout out to Clevers. I found this code on his mod for one of my weapon mods. So let's go ahead, and also I'm gonna put it on the description. So you're just gonna use this. I was using this one. So you're just gonna put here 720. Don't change anything, just add the 720. What this gonna do, I'm gonna show you. This is gonna make our one-handed as a dual wield. So you can use this to see what animation is what. So you see that here is one-handed, here is two-handed, and here is your dual wield. So dual wield L1, L2, L3, L4. Of course, not every single weapon has 6, but anyways, this is what basically it's gonna use for L1. So you can just edit this animations and add whatever you want. Dual attacks, single attacks for the left weapon. Do what you want. So now that you know that, like I said, this will make the weapon on the right hand use dual wield while having well, you don't have both weapons, you only have one weapon. You just have a couple of models, and basically the web absorb param is making a dual. So that is the base of the code for this, and let's go ahead and also search for the function to exchange hand. So this is also thanks to Clevers. Let's go here, and we're just gonna add a simple code. I'm gonna also link it, and just make sure that you add your TAE that you created here on the list. If you're gonna add another one, you just put a comma and put the other one, 21, whatever you want. So this code basically, as you can see, it also have comments. So this makes the weapon try to reload when you're trying to change hands. Well, not, I'm sorry, not reload. Use these animations, which are the crossbow reloads. You can of course change this to another one if you want, but of course just use this. Anyways, so we basically have the basic of the code. We also have the animations, But of course, since we added the animations later, you're gonna have to reload this. So let's go ahead and do that. Also, I want to say I'm sorry for being all over the place. Like I said, I didn't plan on making a tutorial for this. Somebody just was asking questions for a duel, a sword and shield, and I decided to make a tutorial on dual weapons and trick weapons. That way you don't have any problems. So like we said before, this is gonna be your two-handed to one-handed, and this is gonna go into two-handed. So we added the animations. This is when you break the weapon. So this is gonna be this, and this is when you go into the duel. So let's go ahead, and I think this is fine. You don't have to change that. I suggest that you add this. This is very important because you don't want people moving around unless you want to move around while using the animation. But what's gonna do is it's gonna half blend the walking animation with the transformation, and it's not gonna look good unless you have a good animation that blends well with walking. Let's move this. You can go ahead and delete this. Alright, so let's just make this simple. You don't want those sounds. Alright, this look good. So let's go ahead and let me find a FSR for this. Already had one. So I think it was like 2000 or something like that. It's fine, I can search for it again. So you're gonna search for whatever you want to use. Let me see, no. And you can use all types of effects, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it simple. And this is another one. This is another one. Okay, this is good. So we're gonna use this one. I knew it was 2000 something. So create a new note, and let's do a one shot. This is gonna be the ID. So let's see. So it goes there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna find a dummy poly. So I already have one in mind. I'm gonna show you. So if you see here, when you go into here, the best one that it's in the middle, it's gonna be 851. You can also go into equipments and use the params. That way you have a visual of the actual weapon. So if you see, it clicks there. So I think this is positioned perfectly. And 851. I'm not sure why that is black. It's supposed to be only blue. Let's just ignore it. I don't know what's happening today. I'll make sure that this is on, and we're gonna add another. So set weapon style, and we're gonna do right weapon two-handed, and we're just basically gonna do the same. Control C, eliminate every single sound, and on this, so it breaks here. So this time we're gonna go to one-handed, and that's basically it. Let's add some sound. Let me see which one was it. Let's use this one. Let's see. Not sure which one is it, so let's copy both. And let's put it here. This is nothing. There's gonna be better sounds. I'm just making this simple just to end the tutorial. So we're just gonna save it. I do have to wait a little bit. You can go ahead and clean up. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna delete this again. And when it's finished, we'll go ahead and add those. So I think everything should be good. For some reason, let's see, it's supposed to be at least done. So let's go ahead and play the game. Alright, so like I said, you have your normal attacks. And I think I messed up. And you might actually need to change. So 720. See, so maybe you're gonna have to change this. Let's see if you do. I thought that you didn't. So I said I was over the place, then you're seeing it now, because I also forgot that you have to use ear clip, and I had it for that reason, but it's no problem. Go ahead and do that. I'm so sorry about this. I didn't plan to make a tutorial. went up and said, "Hey, let's do something for the community," and then I just mess up all the time. So you can actually hot reload that at least. Um, so the reason why it wasn't working is because I actually forgot to put 720. And did I hard reload this? No, I didn't. So you can also read hard reload the param because it already exists. So there we go. You can see that you have the dual weapon moveset. I can show you that here. So let's see if you run. I think it's actually using this. No, it's not using that one. Yeah, it seems. Let me go ahead and see the list again, just to make sure. So it should be 34,000. But it's actually not using that one. Let's go ahead and find out. So it's actually using $23, 34. So I also do have it. This. No. It's very curious, but it's not using this. They are registered. Let me think about it. So I do have the 720. Return right. Was there something missing? game. I thought I saved it, but it looks like I didn't. Let me see what animation is playing. So it's playing 23. This is loading fine. So I'm not sure. This tutorial is all over the place. Wait, why is this using 23? Now I noticed that I have it as a curved sword. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of this, just put it on the mod folder. Right. And I'm gonna go ahead and find so it's now using this. So I'm not sure if it was ME3 or the mod manager. Yeah, I'm not gonna go ahead and edit that out because I also want to show you how to troubleshoot or maybe find a way to fix it. So everything was fine on my end. It was apparently just ME3. I'm not sure why the textures are not loading quickly. That is weird. Okay, so never mind that, no problem. So as you can see, we have the dual weapon moveset and the singular one, which is one-handed. Like I said, you can go ahead and edit this. So let's go to what we came for, the trick weapon. If you go to two-handed, that's basically it. So you can see that going back is not grabbing it right. Should I show a way to change that as a bonus? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I can find a good one. Of course, because when you're breaking it, no, I think it's fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it there. So that's basically a simple way, except with all the problems that I had, for you to create a dual equip and also a trick weapon. Like I mentioned before, if you just want to make a singular weapon and not a dual weapon into a trick, if it's a single weapon, then just use model 1 and just add the 2 models here. And aside from that, you can go ahead and go into server name if you have any questions, if you got lost somewhere. But yeah, that was my tutorial. Have fun, buddy.